What if I told you that one UFC referee's incompetence nearly ended a fighter's career in front of millions, while a lightweight champion just casually suggested he might run for president, and Khabib just threw the biggest curveball in MMA by claiming the current UFC champ isn't even the best fighter in his division? Buckle up, because this MMA news roundup is about to get absolutely wild, and trust me, you won't see that last story coming. Let's dive straight into the controversy that has Daniel Cormier absolutely furious and fans calling for a referee's immediate suspension. At the latest UFC event, we witnessed one of the most disgraceful late stoppages in recent memory, and DC wasn't having any of it. Picture this. Alexander Hernandez lands a devastating overhand right that sends Diego Ferrer crashing to the canvas like a sack of bricks. Ferrer is clearly out on his feet, completely defenseless. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. The referee just stands there like he's watching a movie while Hernandez proceeds to rain down 14 more punches on a helpless opponent. 14. We literally counted them, and by the end, Hernandez was bouncing Ferrer's head off the canvas like a basketball. Cormier's voice could be heard rising with each unanswered shot, desperately screaming for the fight to be stopped. And when he watched the replay, he didn't hold back his criticism of this so-called professional official. One fan perfectly captured the absurdity, joking that the ref was waiting for Hernandez to sign an autograph before stepping in, while another wrote that DC screaming to stop the fight was louder than the ref's whistle at his kid's soccer game. But here's what makes this even more disturbing: Ferrer absorbed punishment that could have long-term consequences, all because one person failed to do the job they're literally paid to protect fighters. This wasn't just incompetence, it was dangerous negligence that overshadowed what should have been a celebration of Hernandez's spectacular knockout power. But wait until you hear what the UFC's newest superstar just said about potentially becoming president, and I'm not kidding about this. Ilia Topuria, fresh off his absolutely brutal first-round destruction of Charles Oliveira, just sent shockwaves through the MMA world with comments that have nothing to do with fighting and everything to do with political ambition. When asked if he could ever see himself stepping into politics, this undefeated champion didn't laugh it off or dismiss the question. Instead, he gave an answer that has fans already calling him President Ilia. He explained that while he hasn't mapped out any political career, he would never rule it out completely, stating that if the people ever demanded his leadership, he would seriously consider stepping into that world. The comparison to Conor McGregor's cultural impact is obvious. Both men rose to superstardom with electric octagon performances and became larger-than-life figures who transcend the sport. But here's where Ilia gets really bold. When directly compared to McGregor, he didn't shy away, acknowledging Conor's massive influence while confidently stating that even in his prime, he believes he would have beaten the Irishman inside the octagon. This wasn't arrogance talking, this was pure championship conviction, and honestly, after watching him dismantle Oliveira with surgical precision, it's hard not to believe him. Before moving to the next news, we have a quick request for you. We are constantly working to improve our content to earn your love and support. That's why we would truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on MMA Discuss News. Now here's where things get absolutely explosive, and this next story is going to completely flip your understanding of who's actually the best lightweight on the planet. You think Ilia Topuria holding UFC gold makes him the undisputed king of 155 pounds? Well, Khabib Nurmagomedov just destroyed that narrative with one devastating statement that has the entire MMA world in chaos. The undefeated legend, whose word carries more weight than any championship belt, recently declared that in his opinion, Ilia is not the best lightweight in the world today. Instead, he gave that honor to his cousin Usman Nurmagomedov, a fighter who's been dominating outside the UFC spotlight. In a PFL interview that's now going viral, Khabib didn't hesitate. They have to fight to know who is the best. People can talk, they can say whatever they want, but in my opinion, as a well-rounded fighter, I think Usman is better. Those words are seismic because they come from the greatest lightweight of all time, a man who knows greatness when he sees it. While Ilia wears UFC gold, Khabib insists that a championship belt doesn't necessarily make someone the absolute best fighter alive, and there's serious substance behind this claim. Usman has built an incredible resume, capturing the Bellator lightweight title before moving to PFL, with more than 20 fights of experience at 155 pounds. Meanwhile, Ilia has exactly one fight in the division. Missed out on fighting Islam Makhachev earlier this year due to a back injury, has just been booked for a no-GI super fight against legendary former UFC and WEC lightweight champion Benson Henderson at ACBJJ 18 on September 19 in Moscow. This isn't just any exhibition match. Henderson, at 41 years old, is considered one of the greatest lightweights of all time, with a career that includes legendary wins and multiple titles across different promotions. For Arman, this represents his third straight grappling competition, having already secured victories over PFL fighter Makhachev Sharipsanov and former Bellator champion Patricio Pitbull Freire. But here's what makes this fascinating. Arman's relentless pace, explosive scrambles, and wrestling base have made him a serious threat on the mats, not just in MMA, and this clash with Henderson is his chance to stay active and keep building momentum while the UFC figures out his next move. The timing is perfect. While other contenders sit around complaining about title shots, Arman is proving that true champions find ways to compete and improve, regardless of the circumstances. Now let me tell you about a moment that perfectly captures the complexity of being an MMA analyst when fighters make decisions that leave you genuinely conflicted. Daniel Cormier found himself in an incredibly awkward position after Kelvin Gastelum's recent win, admitting he had serious second thoughts about even interviewing the veteran after his victory. The reason wasn't the fight performance, it was the fact that Gastelum once again missed weight, this time by a massive 5 pounds over the middleweight limit. Cormier, reflecting on the event during his post-show recap, spoke with rare hesitation about a situation that perfectly embodies MMA's contradictions. "Guys, I've got to be honest with you," DC said. "Kelvin Gastelum I respect greatly because of what he has done in his career. But I've got to be honest, man. Missing weight by that much, I don't know. I don't know how to judge these performances." This was a rare moment of genuine uncertainty from Cormier, who usually speaks with absolute conviction, and his honesty reflected what fans were already expressing online. Gastelum's career has always been a paradox, consistently delivering entertaining fights while weight issues haunted his journey, raising questions about discipline and professionalism. Despite defeating Dustin Stoltzfus by unanimous decision, the shadow of that massive weight miss hung over everything, creating an impossible situation where victory doesn't tell the whole story. When someone like DC, respected for his balance of fighter empathy and analyst honesty, admits he's not sure how to evaluate a performance, that speaks volumes about the bigger picture in MMA. Sometimes discipline, preparation, and responsibility matter just as much as getting your hand raised. Finally, let's talk about a decision that has the MMA community absolutely divided and proves that some fighters simply refuse to back down from adversity. Charles Oliveira has broken his silence about his lightning-fast return to action, addressing critics who questioned his decision to fight just 105 days after suffering that devastating knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. The former lightweight champion is already preparing to headline UFC Rio against striking powerhouse Rafael Fiziev, marking his first fight on home soil in 5 years, and his response to the criticism is pure fighter mentality. "There are people making comments out of the goodness of their hearts," Oliveira explained in an interview with Ariel Helwani, "but there are others who mean bad by it. Things that happened in the past have already passed. This is a new fight, a new place. I'm just really grateful to have this opportunity and to keep doing what I'm supposed to do, regardless of those who want to speak badly about me." This isn't just about a quick turnaround, it's about a former champion refusing to let one devastating loss define his legacy. While some fighters might hide after such a brutal knockout, Oliveira is stepping right back into the fire against another dangerous contender, proving that his fighter spirit remains unbroken. Sure, his return doesn't break Khamzat Chimaev's record of fighting twice in 10 days 5 years ago, but the willingness to face adversity head-on, especially after such damaging loss, speaks volumes about the mindset that once made him lightweight king. So there you have it, from referee incompetence that nearly caused serious injury, to political ambitions from an undefeated champion, to Khabib completely reshaping the lightweight conversation, to fighters proving their dedication both inside and outside the octagon. The MMA world never stops delivering drama, controversy, and moments that remind us why this sport is absolutely addictive. Which story shocked you the most? Are you buying Khabib's claim about his cousin? Or do you think Ilia deserves more respect as the current champion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if this breakdown kept you glued to your screen, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because trust me, the stories we're covering next week are going to make today's news look tame by comparison.